just so far from here, focused on my own way, with never looking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there was nothing you said that could make me realize how much lucky I was. Just out of reach of this fire, was not aware of this nightmare. But when I stopped to see through sight, begging for help, begging for hope, just need to open my eyes now to try to change.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Alright, good evening, race fans. I tell you what, we're at a big track tonight here, Talladega, and I've talked about this track a little bit coming up for the points, because I've said there's a few tracks that are kind of wild card tracks, and I gotta say this one here, and in the truck series, this one really became a shake-up style track where we saw Daniel Nanny actually get in to the chase by coming sideways. So who knows what's going to happen tonight here as we're getting set to go racing for the Great Lakes Cup Series, Talladega style. We're in the chase now. Alex, I don't know, ought to be a good one.
Yeah, I like how you brought up how Daniel Nanny came in spectacular fashion over there in the truck series, coming in sideways, securing his way in. And speaking of Daniel Nanny, he's our current points leader.
Yes.
After the race last week at Sonoma.
Starting 17th.
Yeah, he's but this is one of those tracks where it kind of I'll just keep using your wild card.
Yeah. Well, and I've mentioned I mentioned, and I've also seen on this track, I'm not going to say qualifying's not important, but it's just really it's not as crucial as it would be at another track. I've seen guys win from the front, middle, back. I've seen guys win 2 laps down starting on pit road at this place. So it's doable. So Daniel Nanny, obviously where he's at right now, and Christopher Heller, who has came alive in the last couple races here in the chase to kind of jump up here for these guys. And he's only 6 points behind Daniel. So coming out of here, he could actually have the points lead coming out of this place. So something to keep in mind. But he starts 22nd, and that's strategy. Sometimes guys may just go. They like starting in the back.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways you can go about racing here. Usually, the two that I bring up is either you just kind of hang out in the back and just let things happen in front of you, or you're gonna sit there in the front and let everything happen, or notionally let everything happen behind you. But we know that sometimes that's not the case, especially up front. But we'll see how these guys handle it here tonight. Should be a pretty entertaining race here. Who knows what we got in store?
And here's the thing, coming out of this one, we talked about Christopher Heller. He is only 6 points back. Elliott Henderson's the one that needs a very good finish, who has struggled. Did really well in the regular season, but has struggled here in the chase. So he needs to come out of here with a good one, because he's 13th back there on Daniel. But tonight is going to set the stage for our final race next week to crown a champ.
Yeah, and I kind of like how they did it, where I don't know if they intentionally did it or if it just worked out this way, with how they put a couple wild card races in a row right before the finale.
Yes.
I like how you use that wild card.
Well, it's fitting. Because you just don't know in the race. Obviously, we had Sonoma last week. You had to pretty much be a road course ringer there, and then we saw Christopher Heller come up good there. Daniel Nanny started out well. The one thing I can say about Daniel, the races he's had bad luck in, he's mitigated the damage, basically. It's been as bad as what it could have been for him. And that's the sign of a true champion right there. A guy really wants to be a champion.
And he is fighting hard I'll say in both series. He's fighting hard for that spot, because he came in like we were just talking about in the truck series sideways at this track to secure in, and then now he's right there running up the front.
Gonna be a crazy one here. Pace truck's off. We're getting set to go green here, folks. Talladega. One more race before we go conclude a champion next week. But tonight's going to be kind of a set style race here. Who we're going to be looking at next week. As we're off, we're going to see a first-time winner tonight, or we're going to see a repeat one. We'll just have to wait and see. His green flag's about to fly. Here we go.
Green flag, green flag.
Yeah, that
Guys are
long
definitely gearing it
anticipated
up.
drive.
Yeah, absolutely. Green flag, and then remember the one thing is you do not want to get a good, a huge jump here, and you're already seeing 3 wide up front, which, is the norm at Talladega.
It's normal if there's people with you.
True.
Doesn't work out
you
too
don't get
well
stuck
if you're
like that,
alone.
yeah.
But at least he got up. Didn't. It wasn't as detrimental of a loss as it could have been back there, but it looks like you just see some guys already floating back from wherever they're at. They're just going to go hang out in the back, it looks like, and then just kind of get things rolling. I think I saw something in one of the chats here in the Discord talking about how drafting was a little bit different
It
than
is.
it has been in the past.
Yep. Well, the drafting, they changed some of it. We talked about this in the past Talladega race, meaning you can get more of a side draft, and you're really going to have some help to push by someone, but you really could. get a side draft, and a single car could actually use that side draft a little bit better. One thing I really like talking about here is the, in-car shot. And I always talk about, I always like being up top, kind of being up top. The reason being is, remember I always talk about they use they have the heavy downforce package here at Talladega. You can tell by the wing they got on there, that big huge wing they got back there. But there's some other things on the car that is different. Well, when you're tucked up behind someone, you see right there, perfect example, you don't see when that turn's coming. All you see is a big wing. And, sometimes that you can get down on that apron, upset the car a little bit. But if you're up high, usually not too bad. But down low, it can tend to be a problem. Is Jared Darling out front. And there's Pete. He's not
Pete
no
making
Pete
his
machine,
comeback.
though. Yeah, but he's not. The last time Talladega didn't do him much favors. He had a rough one, but you know what? He's not the Pete machine, though.
Yeah, what's that? Worldwide Technology. I think I saw that a little bit earlier.
Yeah. He's been a techno man tonight. We're going back here to about 8th place spot. Just side-by-side racing. Right now, everybody's kind of single file up front. Being very patient. That's kind of what you want. I mean, really, in a nutshell, you there's no need to be side-by-side early on. I know it's exciting for the fans and viewers, but really, what I call this right here is textbook drafting. And, definitely want you to get a little bump going down the front and back stretch. You definitely don't want to do any going into the turns, out of the turns, and the tri-ovals until maybe the last lap. Then it's all fair then. But right now you can kind of see about a hood to a half a hood car, off of each other. And I usually refer to that as kind of a textbook drafting type of thing. And looks like Elliot Henderson. Is that Elliot?
I think Elliot and Shane right there.
He's in a red Toyota. And you got Shane right there. They jumped out of line for a moment. They might be thinking about dropping back to the back. And that's a strategy a lot of people, go about. I mean, you can look. We got 2 packs right now. You go back here to Matthew Daniels in 13th. You see a single car freight train. And you've got Daniel Nanny in there who has a different machine here tonight. That is a... can't get a very good... Not quite sure what that is on the hood. Something racing.
I'm not
my
quite
nose
sure
tonight, folks. I'm kind of a little stuffed up, so it may not sound as... Oh, Rocket Setup. That's right. Remember, he had a Rocket Setup on his truck. So, yeah, new sponsor then. Okay, cool.
Looks pretty patriotic, too, a little bit. But you don't see stars and stripes, but it's red, white, and blue.
Yeah, and the Rocket Setup, obviously, is for setups on iRacing, which this is a fixed setup league, so, not using any of the setups there, but coming on board there to sponsor Daniel, and, hey, good sponsor right there to come on board. You've got Christopher Heller right there in that same pack running with those guys, and all those guys just being patient. He's in the Butt Kicker, who is now one of the official sponsors here for the Great Lake Cup Series. And let's see if we can't. There you go. You can see on his back tail deck lid, GLC S20. Go to Butt Kicker and you get your 20% off right there. So definitely check out Butt Kicker. Appreciate him coming on board. Been a title sponsor here, and I think in season 2 is going to be a title sponsor. But that's the second pack right there, and it goes all the way back to the 25th place. And then, like I say, you've got your front pack here. So everybody's just kind of being patient right now, Alex.
Yeah, it looks like Elliot and Shane. Not sure. I think Elliot's just going to drop back a little bit, unless he cuts down. But looks like his and Shane's extra little group right there on the side didn't work out too well, because Shane's back there. Unless
Shane just dropped to the tail end. That's all right now. A little bit dicey right there between Elliot and Charles, and boy, that's going to lose some ground. And Charles is going to drop back. That's going to allow that second group to probably catch up to these guys up here as they're all going to go side by side for a moment. But that's Talladega. We always say it's kind of lurking around the corners and around the track. It's not if, it's when the big one will happen. We've always heard that or seen it. As you see, look at Samuel having a good run up in third.
Yeah, he's just been hanging out up there, and you got Pete now coming up front.
Jared actually, what happened? He was up front, lost ground. Let me see if I can't find what happened to him here. I saw him get shooken up a little bit up front there, but if I can't find what happened to Jared Darling right here. Here we go. Let's go back on a replay here. You see Jared out front right there. They're all just single file for the moment. I was watching that pack back there. You see Pete, man, he is pushing. A little early to be pushing like that. And yeah, I just just got a little bit pushed into the turn. Not ouch.
I think that goes.
Be a little aggressive on that move right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say that goes with a little bit of your textbook bump drafting kind of stuff.
It is. Well, now it's fine right there. I mean, you're going down the back stretch, no biggie right there. You can be plowed onto the back bumper, but where you want to start letting off is around about here. He lets off a little bit right there, and he just caught him just a little bit. And it don't take much. I know folks are like, well man, Joe, that didn't look like a hard lick. No, it didn't, but it does not take much of a hard lick. And it puts Gerald all the way back in 8th here. And you got your top 4 guys now on a single file up there. So Pete out front, Aaron DeLacus, hope I said that right. 2nd, Samuel Hoff right there in 3rd, Nathan Nicholson. That's your top 4.
Douglas?
Yeah, Douglas. I mean, that sounds better.
Yeah, I think Douglas has been what we've been saying.
Yeah, and right now, I tell you, Elliott, he'd love probably the race to end like it is right now because he'd gained some very much needed points going into the last race over Daniel. We've talked about Daniel having some bad luck in the past couple races, or the past several races, but yet he's been able to bounce back from that bad luck and kind of just soften the blow a little bit. It could have been a lot worse, but Elliott, on the other hand, has had a couple races where he hasn't been able to, and lost ground. Or obviously Elliott was the favorite coming into this thing, chase wise, championship hunt, and we've seen it many times, like in real racing there, Alex. Sometimes you might be the favorite and got to get hot at a certain point, and Daniel got hot, and Christopher Heller really has gotten hot at the right time.
Yeah, Chris Heller's come up pretty recently too, in a good way. He's just been making it happen at the right time, just like you were saying. His timing is really good. Daniel's timing is near perfect, it seems.
Oh yeah.
And like you were saying, with how he has been, he hasn't had the best of luck last few races, but with softening the blow, that kind of goes with surviving some of these wild card races, is how I'll put it. And just kind of making do with what you got and then getting what you can out of it. And Daniel's been doing a great job of it, honestly.
Yeah, he has. And Christopher, I'm gonna tell you, I mean, tonight, still way early right now for these guys to try to pick and choose where they're going to really finish. Everybody on the track doing an outstanding job right now, just being patient just kind of just riding right now, putting some laps in. But, Christopher right there, doing what he needs to do. Definitely don't want to tear the car up.
Yeah, no, you don't. And I feel like this race, so far, these guys are being a little bit more on top of it and smooth with it, and just they're kind of keeping mellow. Because I remember the truck race in the Great Lakes Truck Series. It seemed like it was getting pretty antsy pretty quick, and there was still a lot of race to go. And then some stuff happened, and we all know how that went. I mean,
crazy.
It went sideways. I'll put it that way.
Well, you got Brandon Perkuski sitting in 4th in points, and Scott Schuler right there in 5th. He's tied actually with RJ, and I don't know if RJ just had some commitments come up in real life, and obviously we know that, but missing the second race here, and RJ actually was second in the points coming into Sonoma. So, wow, definitely going to drop way out of it now, but again, not sure. Hope everything's okay, and whatnot, but not sure why RJ is not out there. But you've got him tied there with Scott Schuler, and then Matthew Durr sitting in 7th, Jacob Bransky there at 8th, Max Williams up into the 9th, and then Jacob Manning, up in 10th.
Yeah, and I know how earlier you brought up how, this single file kind of race we got going on right now isn't very entertaining for the fans wise. Or I guess you can, as we're getting a little bit split up now, it looks like this second group is, the second pack back here looks to be fanning out a little bit, or some guys are just dropping back.
And I think that's what you're going to see. You're going to see some guys just kind of dropping back, and that's like, was that Shane Nicewanger right there? Some guys might feel more comfortable riding in the back than they do in the front. The car might be overheating on them. They want to, get out in cleaner air. Which shouldn't really be having that problem with as much as they're drafting right now. They should be okay, so not quite sure on that end.
But this is that kind of single file racing and keeping it clean is just these guys pretty much just minding their P's and Q's to not make this as troublesome as the last time this group was here in the truck series. Because it's people like
it's Talladega. You just never know what's going to happen.
You got a Dogecoin truck right there.
Yeah.
Car. Excuse me.
See, who is that? That's Jacob.
Jacob Bransky.
Right. He's trying to run down the Mac machine.
Well, at the rate Dogecoin's been going, it'll catch it.
You ain't lying. It's all Pete out front right now with the 4-car freight train he's got happening right there with Aaron, Samuel, and Nathan. They've been able to keep pace in front of this second group of Elliott and whatnot. So, in real life, normally you would see a sizable freight train like that run down a 4-car one up front. iRacing has never... For some reason, this is where kind of the virtual the world comes in. iRacing's never been able to replicate. They do a great job pack style drafting and all, but never been able to replicate that. Getting a huge pack, and whoa, and you see him get sideways. What a save. You could save 2 in these cars a little bit easier, but man, right there. Ow. Well, what I was about to say, now that they're all broke up a little bit, basically, they've never been able to, as they are 4 wide. Now, here's where it gets dangerous. You guys got to get back in line here, figure out what they want to do. Traffic jam back here. But a huge pack of machines in a line like that should be able to run now 4 cars up front. They do it in real. So iRacing's just never been able to kind of replicate that, so to speak.
Yeah, just that realism draft factor is what I'll call it. But
I was just waiting for a big one right there for a second.
yeah, I know. I was like, is it gonna happen?
Yeah.
No,
those guys, they're good job. They did a heads up job on them there. They all got it sorted out. But and that's another thing with Talladega. You're wide enough, you can definitely. You're wide enough. This track's big enough to where you're able to, fan out 4 wide if you had to.
Yeah, you got a little wiggle room. Brandon Barkuski right there in the throwback Jeff Gordon paint scheme.
Got Andrew Lutz, Scott, and Zach back here way off the pace. 3-car run. Not quite sure what there is, but they've lost a huge part right there, but still up front. 4-car draft here. Good looking run between those guys.
That's what I'm saying. That's when you brought it up, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, these guys are staying consistently at the same, like the same-ish gap.
Well, it's crazy. I mean, because if you look at the lap times, they are the top 4, 49.9. Here's the times, by the way. They're all 49s. 93, 94, 98, 98. So that's about as consistent as you can get. But then you go back to Elliott Henderson, who has, like I say, that huge amount of cars there. They're running 50 seconds times. So, like I say, I take it back to iRacing just does a great job in pack style, like this right here. It's just great. They do an absolutely outstanding job pack style here. But when it comes to replicating in real life, because again, those 4 cars out there would not have been as fast as a 10-car freight train all lined up. They would eventually have ran them down in real life. So that's where I kind of say iRacing might lack a little bit on draft. Now, obviously, if these guys back here get the battling a lot, then that's a different one. But they've been single file for quite some time too.
Yeah, they have. And, I mean, I'm not against them racing that way. It's that kind of...
Well, it's safe now. I mean, there's really, like I said before, there's no reason to get up our side by side yet and, risk, tearing up a car or wrecking or anything. So,
and that kind of disconnected fall off of the drafting from real life to iRacing it's kind of unfortunate, because I thought it was always so cool to watch how that big pack in the back would slowly catch them up, and then they just when I was growing up, I was like, oh, and then they just swallow the group in front of them, kind of like the food chain.
And it's some drivers, even in real life or virtual world, talk about Talladega and Daytona, the draft. You see right now, side by side, you got some 2x2 racing here, door to door. But they talk about that. The reason some guys don't like it is because pretty much you're at the mercy of the draft. And I've used a word. This is basically a no-skill track, and drivers really. Some of them get like, Joe, what are you talking about? Well, I'm not saying you don't have any skill, but the track really, it's not a skill-based track. And when I say that, meaning basically what we're seeing right here, you really are at the mercy of the draft. And the one thing that a lot of guys tell me, well, you got to know where to put it at, Joe. You got to know where to draft it. Okay, well, like Elliott Henderson, there's nothing else he can do. Hold it wide open to the floor and hope the guys behind him draft him. So, again, I take it back to it. In a situation like this, there's nothing you can do. You're at the mercy of the draft and what it's going to give you here. And, you know, true at the end, sometimes I say luck probably plays a huge factor at these places, because being at the right place at the right time. And we've seen that at, you know, in the truck series. Right place, right time.
And no, I mean, I can totally get on board
Pit
and
stops.
see. Yeah, I was gonna bring that up not too far from now, but maybe this pack coming in, if they get some good pit stops, maybe this is where they could make up a little bit of that gap, though, because, you know, that total pit time can definitely help some guys out, and it could hurt some of these guys up here too.
Well, this
Who
is
knows?
smart. I mean, the whole front four came together, and that's what you want. You know, definitely you want all of you to come, you know, together on pit road. So, yeah, you got a few cars in the back there spinning around.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're going to see, it's like Daniel Nanny's going to lead them back out. And Nathan, Aaron, Sam, so all four of those guys are all going to come back out together. Sam's in a different paint job tonight. He's in the zoo. The Detroit Zoo. Elliott's a little bit closer than what he was. Let's see if he can get that Jeff right there, tighten up that on the back bumper. That's another thing. They're going to have to be tightened up just a little bit. But Elliott might be able to get on the back end of Sam. We'll have to see. I mean, he's losing a little bit of ground right now. See, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's just crazy to see that they'll lose that much ground coming in here.
And that one group of three didn't pit with everyone else. They went on their own
On
accord.
pit road right now. Yep.
Yeah, they're just coming off. That
Maybe
was
on a
Brandon Barkuski, Scott Stewart, and Chris Heller.
Yeah, a little bit different pit cycle. They're not going to really lose too much here. Actually, Christopher Heller's not. He's actually going to come back out in seventh place. So, really, actually, Christopher, I think, probably gained some spots on that one.
Yeah, definitely. He was sitting what?
Well,
Around 12th or 13th, something?
Daniel Nanny's the one who really lost a lot. He's back in 15th. And folks, I got to bring up there is only a 6-point difference between Christopher and Daniel, and as of right now, if it was the end, Christopher would he would have the points lead coming out of here. So because he led that lap too. I think he led a lap. He might have led a lap. I'm not sure, but nonetheless, he got. He could close that gap, and we could have a heck of a race coming in. And then you're talking about Elliott up there in 5th, Daniel back in 15th. It's only 13 points separating them. So, Elliott could close it in if things end up like it is right now. He'd be within striking distance going in the last race. So, it's not over with for these guys by a long shot.
And also, there's a good chunk of racing left to go, but it looks like those guys played it pretty well.
They did.
With pit road, I mean, you got that group that's still way up there.
Now, here's where a move I say is not very smart. What the one car did right there, he had a run on Elliott and Jeff, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to clear him or not. He's able to clear him, but he's not able to bring his dancing partner with him. So he's going to have a choice. He's going to have to stay up there. He's going to stay with his partner. But I've always said this a couple times. If you're not able to just shoot on by those guys, and see now he's actually himself a little bit too far out because he might get freight trained. Sometimes it's better to just fall behind them and draft in line because you're wasting a lot of time. And again, they're 6 seconds off from those 4 drivers up there, and they're not making time. I don't I don't know how in the world those 4 guys up there are almost 8/10 faster than all the ones back here in the back.
I think it might be because they don't have as many people to deal with when it comes to drafting, so they're just kind of holding their position throughout.
I mean, well, this line right here looks pretty solid. But the times should be at least the same. I mean, you're talking about 49s. See, and that might be a case of this draft package that they've got now in iRacing might be so different. Again, I'm trying to think. Might be the first Cup race I've done on Talladega, that is, since they've changed that. Obviously, we've done a truck, but trucks are way different. I think we've done an Xfinity, and they're way different. The Cup car's just the package on it's way different, and this might be the product that it is. If you're out front in a smaller group, might be a lot faster than a bigger group. And but right now, faster wise is one. Now there, Jacob turned to 49, so they were able to. Now they were faster than the ones up front, and that makes sense. Jacob pulled a 49.75, and that whole pack went 75 to the 85 of Pete and them. That makes a little more clearer sense to me than that, seeing the pack up our front guys running 49.8s and them running back here 50.14s. I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. Math ain't adding up. Maybe they got that Common Core math.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about it like that just don't make any sense logically with the knowledge that...
But it could be, like I say, the draft package is, and now you're starting to see what I'm talking about. Now I'm starting to see it is, Pete and them ran a 49.74, and Jacob just ran right there, who's leading this pack, a 49.85. So now there you go. So that's more of an even set. Still a little bit off and whatnot, so I take it back to, and looks like they picked up a lap car of Scott, so actually, 5 cars up front right now. And again, I take it back, that might be the case of this draft package. So if anybody out there in the chat, man, knows, you watching, listening, any drivers or anything, there you go. Oh, okay, we found out about RJ. It says real racing season. Okay.
You're telling me this isn't real racing?
Well, it's real people. I mean, we're on a virtual set.
Yeah, they did. So earlier, this was in the chat. This is what I was talking about. Brandon Barkuski threw up a practice session.
Okay.
And he said another practice is up. Get in here. Drafting is a ton different, and ton is all capital.
And I think we're seeing it. I mean, and we're seeing it with the lap times, and we're seeing it. And it's again, it's confusing me, and I think we're seeing that here, and we're probably going to see it even more as the race goes on, when it gets to the end here, when these guys actually are going to, when these top 4 are going to say, okay, we're done riding in line, we got to go. Am I going to be able to jump out there as a single car and go, or am I going to need help? And I'm about right now, it looks like you're pretty much going to need help, because they look pretty dead even. And then it begs the question of who jumps out first. I would say if you're sitting in second place, I'm not jumping out first. If I see the third place guy maybe jump outside, I might go then. But then again, you don't want to leave that inside open and lose your spot.
Yeah, I think these guys would. The only time someone would jump out is probably coming off turn 4 on the last lap.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Really, yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yep.
If it stays like this, but you never know if it's going to. I mean, it's gotten a little squirrely, but I mean, we're halfway through the race almost. We've been green the whole time.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. And it's been a good one so far, so hope everybody's enjoying it. If you like the shares out there, appreciate it. As Pete Man out there, he's looking for some redemption here at Talladega. Out front with Nathan Nixon there along with it. Aaron sitting in third. Samuel having a good run up there in fourth. And you got the second pack back here with Elliott Henderson, who is trying to stay in that hunt for the title. He got himself in a little hole. He's about 13 points back. He would hate to have to try to fight. Because, you know, the way I look at it, going into Homestead, you pretty much know if you're good at Homestead or not. Yeah, you know, so that's one of those tracks where you pretty much can say, okay, I'm good there, and I know how to race it. I'm gonna be fast. Period. A track here, you know, you've got guys that will come in here and say, well, yeah, I'm good at Talladega. Yeah, but you need a little bit of help. You know, I mean, you know, you're gonna have to have help to get yourself. Especially the way drafting now, and I know we talk about like back in the day, and obviously your favorite driver Dale Earnhardt. Woo! I would have to say this though, Dale would not dominate Talladega in today's racing because it's dictated too much off the draft and too much off of putting yourself right there. That is a different era and a different car and a different draft. Of where he was doing it, him and Bill Elliott both back in the day. It was all horsepower mostly then, and then just driving the wheels off the cars. Now it's again, I take it back to you're at the mercy of the draft, and I think we even started seeing that. What's that?
I said it's showing a little bit.
It is, and I think we even started seeing that even with Dale Earnhardt Jr. He came in right there where you still had the horsepower and all to push out front of the draft and so forth and so on. But once it started getting to where it was more dictated of the draft, you saw him starting to fall off too. And that's just kind of, you know, I get it. They wanted to build this racing that way. They wanted to make it that way. Some drivers like it, some don't. But, yeah, and that's just different errors. You know, we talk about different errors of racing all the time. So, that's why I say a wild card race, man.
Yeah, and I think that just, like you were saying, it just comes with the progression of the series.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how it is nowadays. But I mean, it's still exciting.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's, you know, and even right now with these guys right now, it's still nerve-wracking to sit there in a car and to race because, you know, you've got to be on, you know, your P's and Q's. It's nerve-wracking because you're like, man, you know, I want to get up there. I want to, you know, go by the guy, but I got to be patient in the meantime to do it. So, and you're still thinking of, like I said before, especially with that top four there, you're still thinking about in the back of your head, what do I got to do at the end to maybe win this thing? Or am I just stuck? Like Nathan right here. Is he just stuck where he's at? Is he just going to have to, you know, because again, if he jumps outside to try, I mean, Pete's not giving up the inside lane. You can't cross the yellow line, so that's another thing there. If he jumps outside, is Aaron going to go with him? If Aaron doesn't go with him and Sam pushes Aaron, well, then Nathan's going to drop back, you know, and then you're going to lose way more position. So, here's where I'm a look. I'm staying right where I'm at right now in second place. And if I have to finish this race in second, I will. But I'm staying right here until I see what the guys behind me are going to do. And if I see them, maybe those two cars jump up or go up high, maybe. Or even if they go up high and they get alongside of me, then I'm gonna close this gap right here on Pete, and I'm gonna push him like a locomotive, right past him as much as I can. Me, this is just me as a driver. What I would see, especially in this, from what I'm seeing right now. And again, we really don't know the whole picture here, Alex. These guys, I mean, except for Pete out front, he's pretty much got it floorboarded. But here, Nathan might be holding back a little bit, and might have just enough to jump to the outside and do it with a slingshot or something. So again, you never know. But if from what we're seeing, how hard it is to pass here with the draft, I'm staying where I am right now. Where I'm gonna stay right here, and if it means I gotta finish second, I'll finish second, and I'll push the guy in front of me. I'd rather finish second than I had 6th or 7th, and I know there's drivers out there like, well, I'd rather win the race, than But hey, points. You gotta look at the big picture sometimes. Good finish. And what's that thing they said about we'll bring back up Earnhardt again? Is that famous saying he said at one time? Oh, I'd rather win than finish second. I'll wreck before I finish second. Well, then you won't be in racing alone because sponsors won't have you. And you had to change that mentality real quick in real racing. Now, obviously it's virtual racing, but and he did. He changed that mentality real quick.
Yeah, he did. But I mean, he still kind of did it a little bit. But
yeah, he was more aggressive. I mean, and again, we go back to that era of racing. I mean, that's where you could be. I mean, those guys back then were just muscle men. Back in that era, and then you go even further back to Kel Yarborough and Richard Petty and all that era. So, I look at the Mark Martins, Earnhardt's, Elliott's, Rusty Wallace's, Traders, those guys in that era, man, they were Iron Men behind those cars. Not taking anything away from these guys now, but guys now, the cars nowadays are so different, Alex. They are so, I mean, they're still race cars, but they're, and again, I've never been in one. I can only go off of what guys have said. A car back then, a race car back then, and a race car now. The race car now is just so much easier to drive. When I say easier to drive, I'm not saying anybody can jump in that thing and drive it. Comparing the two race cars. So let me say it that way for somebody out there who goes, well, nah, what are you talking about? Yeah, could I get behind the wheel of one of these things? Probably not, okay? Let me just say that. But a race car driver that has drove would know the difference between the two.
And going off of that, I might hit you with some controversial stuff right here. So,
all right, go ahead.
Obviously, it's nothing against the guys that do race and all that jazz.
Sure.
I personally think a big part of it actually is the quality of driver. Given the circumstances with the few that I think are natural born talents.
Sure.
And just awesome. Like back in the day, right? Something would be off with your car and you could tell and you could feel it and you could be able to be like, hey, this is wrong. I feel like a lot of these guys nowadays can't do that, and they're like, what's wrong? And then they have to go off the computer in the car telling them what's wrong.
There's so much advancements in these cars nowadays that the crew chiefs and the crews are more in tune, let's say it there. That's a good word to use, than what they were. Like I said, they back then, the crew chiefs had to really rely on what the driver's feedback, like you said. And I'm not saying they don't today, because obviously you still got your tires, still, vibration and so forth, but there's so much computers involved with these cars. I mean, obviously with the Cup car now, they're fully fuel injected, or the dash is fully computerized. I imagine and I have not looked this up, and if anybody knows out there is listening, maybe you know, I imagine with that dash being digital like is, there is some way, somehow, there's full telemetry being sent straight to the crew chief at all time via wirelessly or something, radio or something, letting him see everything going on with that car, fuel, et cetera, and all that stuff. So that's how much more advanced it is. Now, I've had this conversation before. Are these cars as advanced as, let's say, a Grand Prix car? No. Those are probably the most top-tiered spec cars there are as far as technology goes. But NASCAR has it's went from being grassroots or just a normal mechanicals type stuff to a lot of technology is involved, and it's going to get even more with the new generation car coming out, because you see NASCAR's pushing. We've heard this before. They're pushing more towards GT3 style, and you've heard me say that I love GT3 cars, because the GT3 car to me is a race car that really is close to what the manufacturer would build, and that's basically what NASCAR was. It's National Association for Stock Car Racing. You don't hear them say that much anymore, but that's what it stands for. And these cars are far from what the manufacturers are. So, yeah, they look it, but they're not like what it used to be. But a GT3 car, if you look at it, that car, the way it's built and the way it is done is. It looks like a stock car with an internal of a race car, basically.
Yeah, and I'm so kind of jumping off of that really quick. I'm expecting pit stops soon, by the way.
I mean, you've got these guys have been pretty good up front. We're at lap 52, so they're going along pretty good.
Yeah, and they pitted at what, lap 26 or so, the first go around?
26 was when Pete came in, 27 is when Christopher came in, and whatnot. So, yeah, look, I got a feeling this is going to be the last pit stop. So, they're basically going to take it to the end after this one.
And I also, while you were talking, I looked up that the dash thing a little bit. Got a little bit of insight
there's
on
your dash right there.
Got a little bit of insight for you.
Okay.
New dashes replace the analog ones, obviously.
Sure. Yep.
And it says same space behind the steering wheel, obviously. They provide readouts. They can even change the color, which is
RGB. We gotta have that. Makes them faster.
It says it can do water and oil temperatures, water and oil pressure, fuel pressure and levels, transmission and rear end temperature, voltage, lap times, RPMs. And, I mean, that's more than you usually get on your analog sticks.
Yeah, but I don't understand. Whoa, and right there is going to cost Pete huge. Yeah, because he's not lined up in his pits at all. And, wow, that's going to cost him. He's going to lose that pack. Yeah, because he is still not in his pit box. He has still not done his pit stop. Boy, I tell you what, you want to talk about disaster at Talladega for Pete. Man, he is still not, he's not able to get lined up. There he finally gets lined up. But, wow, he's going to go from the lead all the way back. Now, if he doesn't go a lap down, if he doesn't lose a draft, which he's going to lose probably a draft, he's going to come out of here by himself, so it's kind of worst case scenario for him. He's going to need a caution to get up there. Not saying that it won't happen, but wow, just huge right there for him. But that puts, guess who? Chris Heller out front. He's yet to make his pit stop. Obviously, we saw him make one late. I mean to cut you off when I'm talking about the dashboard, but just saw that leader there, man, in trouble.
Yeah,
wow.
that was kind of pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, wow.
This is what they did last time too. These guys. It looks like Jacob Bransky might be dropping down to come down or something. But
Pete is still on pit road. You want to talk about going from bad to just terrible. Wow.
We'll call that the big oof.
I hate that on Pete's part, man. Had a really good fast machine. Here comes Christopher and company down for their pit stops. Remember, they're a couple laps off. So awesome. But yeah, I mean, with the pit stops here, what you were talking about before there with the dash, I preferred the analogs, and I really don't understand why they went digital dash. Because one, that's just going to make more cost for the teams and cars. I didn't understand the whole why. I know they went fuel injected with the motors, but there's no need to have a digital dash for that. I mean, there's many of fuel injected cars back in the day that had analog stuff. So I never understood the mandate there for that. You know, I think it was more of just trying to keep up with maybe some of the other series like IndyCar, and like I say, with IMSA block paint, with the GT3 cars and all, because they have digital dashes and stuff. Maybe just trying to keep up with those series is the only reason I could tell why NASCAR did that. But to me, as far as cost goes, I mean, because I imagine one of those dashboards got to be every bit of 50,000 or more, It might be less, but I mean, it's probably not cheap.
No, I don't think it is, and it's advertised at 5 pounds. I put that out there. It's advertised at 5 pounds.
Okay. All right.
That was made clear in the article that it could change colors and it weighs 5 pounds.
Maybe weight savings or something. I don't know. But, Daniel Nanning right here came up in 4th. But he has yet to make his pit stop, so he's going to have to pit. And the problem is, I don't understand this one here. He's just hoping for a caution. That's basically what he's hoping for. But he's not going to have anybody come on pit road with him.
He didn't pit with Barkowski and Heller?
No, he didn't. His last pit stop was on lap 26. And this right here could be devastating because he's going to come into pits by himself. Everyone else pitted on lap 53, 54, 55. I mean, Daniel's still going to be able to maintain speed because really tires don't fall off here at plate tracks and whatnot. But the bad thing is when unless he gets a caution like now, the bad thing is when he does come into pit road, he's going to go a lap down. And then he's going to be out there by himself. And Pete has disconnected, I believe, left, so I hate to see that on his end. But yeah, Daniel right there.
I could have swore I saw his car there.
Well, I'll go back and double check, but my thing's still saying he hasn't pitted since lap 26. And I'll go back. I mean, I'm going to go back here and look.
I thought I did.
I'm going back and look. Okay. Go back on Daniel Nanny. It says he entered pit lane. Wondering if he missed his pit box. This Christopher, Brandon, Daniel, and Nick all came on pit road. Here he comes. I don't know why. If he did make a pit stop, I don't know why I didn't update the pit time. Unless he just missed his box. We just didn't catch it, but let's watch right here. No, he goes in. Yep. No. Well, why it didn't update then? It still says he been at lap 26, so. Huh. Hey. Crazy right there. He took 2 tires too.
Yeah, he did.
Put full fuel in it, but took 2 tires. That's how he made up a lot of ground right there. But yeah, I don't know why my telemetry still only said he's the only one that's saying lap 26. It didn't register him as hitting. But okay, well there we go. He's up to 4th then. Thing about it is, he did take 2 tires, and right now he's got Brandon Custody right there behind him. Elliott's right there in 7th, but that's what Daniel needed to do then. Okay, good smart move by his end.
Maybe this is just a guess here because I have no idea. Maybe it only kind of loads it if they get. Does it only kind of load it if they get 4 tires? Is that an option?
Shouldn't. As long as they make them stop it, it just clicks off what lap they do to stop it.
Huh.
I don't know why his didn't update. That's maybe he's trying to throw us for a loop here.
Dude, I should have put $100 on it that he came down.
There you go. Yep, absolutely. Well, and it's a good move on his end there because it does put him in front. If he can stay where he's at, remember he comes in 6 points ahead of Chris, 13 ahead of Elliott, and right now that puts him in front of Elliott and Christopher as all race long. He's been right behind those guys, and those guys have made up a lot of ground on him. So if he can maintain and stay where he's at here, well, he's really going to have a cushion going into a Homestead next week.
Yeah, he is. Both of them are both, Elliott and Chris Heller are both in this pack with him that he's leading right now.
They are, yep. This is our leaders up here. Nathan Nicholson out front. Samuel's hanging on there to 2nd. Aaron right there with him. So those top 3 guys have been along. And unfortunately, Pete, man, just a bad mishap on pit road. Hate that on his end. Dominant car out there. But I've said a million times, mental mistakes can kill you, and mental mistakes being pit road. That's the number one thing. So this is our 2nd pack here. You've got Daniel. What's that?
I was gonna say that's 2 Dega races in a row for Pete.
And it takes him back to what I've been using, wild card. That's a perfect example of it. You just never know. But you can come out here and be dominating, and then just mess up, and lack of a better word, it sucks.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, but it has been a very outstanding good race so far. I mean, these guys have done a great job. I mean, obviously, we're not the last lap yet, or last 5 to go. That's when things start getting a little hairy. But we got some bad, fast drivers and some bad, fast cars, and they're going about to do some awful bad, fast things at Talladega here tonight.
Yeah, they are, and they've been running green so far.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah, so far. That's why I added that on, because sometimes, a lot of times, right when you or I say something, it happens.
I've had that happen a lot.
Many times. I've seen it.
Well, they run up on the back end. It looks like some tail end lead lap cars here. We'll see what Daniel is going to want to do. Elliott's going to try to take advantage of this and maybe get a few positions. I mean, at this point, this is what Elliott and Christopher's got to do. They really need to get up here. Maybe can capitalize on some moves on Daniel. There you see Elliott was able to get 1 position. But yeah, crazy.
Yeah, Chris was back there a little bit, and things got a little dicey, and now he has a little group of his own that fell off from this group with Daniel Nanny in it. They're back there a little bit, a couple seconds behind him.
They are. Scott, what are you talking about, Chris? Yeah, right there, Chris Heller. Yeah. Well, this, well, them running up on those lap cars might help Chris here if they get up here and start, side by side a little bit. Looks like the Duncan machine's going to say, okay, guys, you can have it. But I don't know who that is in front of them. Number
Is that
4
the
machine.
7?
That's 4. Looks like 4 of Scott. And now I don't understand why Scott would have just moved out the way, because he basically just did.
No, because he was running up there with the leaders too
Yeah.
when he got lapped.
I mean,
And-
I get it. We've talked about this a couple times. If you're fast enough to stay in front of the leaders, great, go for it. But I mean, I don't know.
But if you're not, don't cause a ruckus.
Don't cause a ruckus. That's right.
But
Oh, Nathan right now leading.
and-
No,
woo-wee!
I don't know
Good
who that
saves.
was.
Ooh, I think they both saved it.
that was Shane.
Woo-wee!
Yes, that was. Well, that was Shane and Frederick back there. Got a little squirrely.
They both saved it though.
Yeah, good save. And that's the one thing about these cars with this package. You can save these slides.
And that was a perfect example of two and one. You gotta buy one, get one free right there.
Yeah.
But something that I want to bring up real quick is Shane's got he's got a nice little dent right there in the
Yeah, that's
back
gonna
right
hurt
of
him.
his car.
It's going to hurt him bad. Well, you talk about lap cars. Andrew Luck is a lap down, and he's hanging up here with these top 4 guys, which obviously gets a caution. Guess what? They're going to lead lap.
Like a dog.
That's it. Look at dog.
Is he the first? Yes, he is the first one.
He is the first
Off
one, yes.
the lead lap.
Yep. Yeah, there's 12 cars on the lead lap right now.
Something I want to bring up though is that I didn't when we were talking about it is how we were talking about showing up when it's time to show up and how he has is how we were talking about how Daniel Laney showed up at the right time, how Chris Heller showed up at the right time to make this playoffs exciting, and in both series that move that Daniel Nanny did on pit road to make up those spots is exactly what we're talking about.
Yep. And that's a smart move. That's a sign of a man that wants to really be a champ. Now, Elliott right now, he is coming up through here, and he understands Daniel being up there. Again, I take it back to like earlier. There's nothing that Elliott can do. I mean, maybe try to get there on the back bumper, maybe get in front of Daniel. But from that point on, there's nothing to do. Now, he's kind of liking what Brandon's doing. Keep bumping him in the butt, and maybe get him a little wiggly. I say tires really are not a huge factor. You got to look. Daniel took 2 tires, and he's been on 2 tires since way back at lap 26. Now these guys are on 4 tires. I mean, tires, yeah, you will tell a little different. It's going to loosen Daniel up a little bit up front, but again, he should be okay with the tire set he's got.
That's what I'm thinking, because these guys are actually making up some ground on that front group now. Because they were sitting at what, 12, 13 seconds?
Well, I'm looking at the lap times. Nathan, Sam, and Aaron all ran 50.77, and they ran a 50.05, so 7/10. And that's what I'm saying. It's making no sense, these times. You remember the top 4 up there one time? They were like 7/10, 5/10 faster. Now this pack back here, which we were talking earlier, is a bigger pack, should theoretically be faster. Well, now it is. And yeah, don't make much sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, this is a bigger pack up front than what they had before. So it takes me back to maybe in iRacing, the new draft packages is if you're in a big pack, you go slower. So get 2 cars out there by yourself, or 3 cars.
I mean, it could work. It's just these lap cars are just latching onto the back.
Yeah, I mean, because the top 3 guys are Nathan, Samuel, Aaron, but even they're only running 51.26, 51.19, 50.95. Now, unless, they've got a 7-second lead, so they can give some time up, unless they're saving fuel. And they pitted at lap 53. We've seen everybody pit around 26 lap mark. They could be saving fuel because that's going to be close.
Yeah, because that'll put them at, 27?
27, yeah. So they could be saving fuel. And they've got the time to do it. I mean, you're talking about they've got a 6.5 second lead, almost 7 on Daniel. So they definitely can save the fuel.
They're coming front. Quick, though.
Well, they are.
It's still,
it's still maintaining 6.97 seconds. When I'm looking at the time gap difference, actually 7 seconds right there. Brandon keeps harassing Daniel up there. That's going to slow the pace down of them. You know what? And it got a feeling just by what I'm seeing right here. And actually, Brandon would probably pull that pack quicker than Daniel. Just a thought. Because, but again, then it could be misleading because usually the second car behind usually gets that, draft. And right there, boy, wrong place to bump draft, man. I know Daniel's probably thinking, man, he's up back there. I don't mind you on the back stretch or front stretch, but you tearing me up in the turns, and that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it definitely could be. He's been all up on. I'm surprised I don't see a rainbow on the back of Daniel Nanny's car.
Man, why? Rubbed some paint, rubbed the Ford sign off the back there of him, so. I'm like you, I'm looking at this times now. Now you can see those top 4 guys have picked up the pace a little bit that time before, but then they slowed back down. So I think they're in fuel conservation mode, saving, because everybody that pitted at lap 55, 10, 20, 25 laps is what they're going to have to go. But the top 4 guys pitted at lap 53. That's close.
Imagine if all 3 of them just lost gas.
It could happen. I've seen
Imagine
it.
that.
I've seen it. It's a big track. I've seen it happen. I've seen a lot of wild things happen on racing. I've seen a guy have a 4-second lead come out of turn 4 and disconnect on the last lap coming out of turn 4.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
No, that wasn't cool.
I mean,
that's demoralizing,
Yeah.
So,
that's just the world.
I mean, all you got to do is pretty much just coast to the start finish line. You don't win, and you just disconnect.
And then blip, you're gone.
Yep, go. So I've seen it, but now if you know you're going to be short on fuel, and some of these guys pitted at lap 52, I don't know if they can. The guys that pitted at lap 55 should be able to make it. They're still, though, going to be close. Now, again, I say they're going to be close, but here's the thing. I've been fooled many a times. As those top runners have got to be saving a massive amount of fuel because they just gained about 3 seconds on them right there. So, if I'm a betting man, Nathan, Aaron, and Samuel all are Yeah, especially you can see Samuel right there. I think Sam knows they might be in trouble at the end. I think they might be in trouble.
Well, we're
Samuel
getting
needs
close.
to duck down. Samuel needs to get out of that side by side and duck down behind somebody or get in front. If not, he's about to get freight trained.
They're about to get swallowed by the bigger worm.
Yep.
That's how I viewed it. I was like, it's just a little worm chasing a big worm chasing a littler worm, and the bigger worm eats the littler worm.
Uh-huh.
That's what I did when I was growing up. I was like, here comes a big worm. Whoop, there goes a little worm.
Where was you at that you saw big worms swallowing up little worms?
I was a kid, man.
Okay. I got you.
You never know. You don't know what.
Now
rooster
here comes
kicks
the
heads
pack.
sometimes.
And here we go, Daniel Nanny. So let's see. Those front, I'm going to say those front three guys are all fuel conservation mode, and we're going to see how much racing they're going to do. Daniel Nanny definitely wants to get up there and lead, because that's bonus points. And oh, right there, almost, boom, there she crashed.
The yellow flag is out.
There's your
Right
wreck.
before they took the white flag.
Ah,
No way.
wow. Let's go and see what exactly happened.
I think that was Andrew Lutzen. Daniel.
Oh, Samuel got involved.
Elliot went sideways a little bit.
Elliot's way off the pace. Yeah, he
Ooh.
got involved. Elliot did. Christopher, luckily, way far off, did not get
Keeping it
involved.
clean.
But man, Elliot right there got involved. But just like that.
I was just thinking, I was like, no way Daniel's gonna come up here, steal the win, and sweep Dega in the trucks and the cup.
He could.
I mean, he definitely still can.
Gonna be a green-white check.
It is. But then right here, I was like, oh, this is
Bump
such...
drafting in the trial. Well, like I said, not there. And then
Literally right before they cross the start finish line.
go back. I want to ride on the inside. Ride with Samuel here. Because he was down on the apron and he had that car straight, but then it he just snapped to the right. Bump draft in the trial going wrong.
I think that's Andrew Lutz right in front of him.
Yep, Andrew, my bad. Yeah, let's ride with Andrew. Is it Andrew Lutz? No, it wasn't Andrew. Who else
Andrew was
it
the
there?
red car in front of Sam Hoff.
Yeah, but that wasn't who went around because we're riding here with Andrew. I don't think that was, anyways. Was it him?
I think Sam got in the back of Andrew,
Okay.
and that made
We're
some
gonna
stuff
watch one more
happen.
time here.
And then he gets punted. Whoop! He tries to save it. He comes right.
Wow.
Never a dull day at Talladega.
No, but that's going to set us up with the green-white checkered. We got Jared, Nathan, Brandon, Daniel, Jeff, Aaron. The man who really is going to hurt out of this one's going to be Elliot. Christopher right now, he's there. He could make up some ground. Don't count out Daniel, though.
Yeah, he's starting in fourth.
Now, here's the thing, though. If I'm Daniel, do I want to risk wrecking on a green-white checker?
If you're the
See,
points leader, I wouldn't. Given
That's
where
what I'm
he's
saying.
currently at,
I understand you want to win this race. I understand he probably does. But he's got to look at the big picture. He has only 6 points ahead of Christopher, and Chris is sitting in ninth. Elliott just had a bad deal there in that wreck. If Daniel gets involved here and we get another caution before we cross green-white checkered, Daniel could fall all the way back to 13th, 14th place spot. And if Christopher can make up 2, 3, 4 positions, guess what? He's either going to take the lead or going to be right there on Daniel going into Homestead. So if I'm Daniel and I don't see a clear shot to win this race, I hold my line and just come out of here with a good finish. You know, sometimes you got to think about that big picture.
Well, he's done what seems to be the right moves to get to the top. We'll see if he still got
The
him.
move he was doing before was perfect. He had the outside and he had a good run. You know, he didn't know that was going to happen in front of him. So nothing wrong with that. But here on this restart is where you got to be careful, because these guys up here, these other guys up here are racing basically for some wins, and they're just going to be beating and banging, and you're going to there. Now Christopher Heller, on the other hand, yeah, he might want to take a few chances. Still, maybe not a lot, because he could, yes, at this point he would lose a little bit of ground to Daniel if it ended like it was, but he's still in that striking distance going into Homestead. But if anybody was to make maybe some moves different, might be Christopher. Daniel, I mean, hey, if the Red Sea's parts and you're there, take the win. If you see that those guys up there are just, taking it 3 wide, 2 wide, and you ain't got nowhere to go, and I'm not sure why Nathan Nicholson. What?
I'm confused as well.
Yeah, what is wrong with our leader? Why?
They're about to take the green too.
Yeah, he's just going to pretty much park it and say, I'm done. But I don't understand.
That puts Daniel on the front row.
It does, and I don't know why. So, they're going to have to explain that one to me. Nathan didn't do anything. Okay?
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. Pace truck's off. We're getting set to go green.
The march down the front stretch.
Slow. Here at Talladega it is, because they got to go pretty much past the tri-oval and go in there, yeah.
Green flag.
And you can see Elliott's going to be on the apron. He knows he's not going to get up to speed, so he's just going to get out of the way. Green flag flies. Let's see what happens. And Daniel, he's on the outside right there. It's a good start for him. But you got Jared Darling out front. Brandon Bukowski right there. Oh, they're already wrecking in the back again. Yellow flag is out. Woo.
Yeah, it looked like it.
How many attempts do we get here?
2?
How many attempts we get? Okay.
3?
Not sure. Never really asked. What's up, Donald? How you doing? Okay, well, Daniel lost a little spots right there. Christopher was able to get 1.
Yeah, Daniel was just left out there. A little bit. Looks like that. What was that? 97, and Aaron Douglas just was not going too well on that outside behind Daniel. And Daniel was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Wasn't,
Well, I mean, the high lane
quite
just
get
does
it.
not. I don't know if it's the place you want to be is a high lane. I think I'd want to be the low line.
I think if
But
you got the right
then again,
guy.
being on the low line there, Alex, you really ain't going to have nowhere to go. You're stuck, yeah.
Right, and that's a concept that you bring up pretty frequently, especially if you're stacked up like
Yes.
that 2x2 or 3x3, whatever you want to call it. But
I don't think we're going back green. I think we're going to end it. I think they got 1 attempt because are we going back green? Are we going to get another attempt here? I think we are. Okay. I just saw Jared way out there for all they had to catch up to the truck.
Yeah,
I saw Jared way out there in the front. I thought, okay, just going to go ahead and end this one. All right. Why is he going on pit road?
I don't
What
know.
are they doing?
I have no ideas.
Okay, I don't. I mean. Unless he, now remember, he was one of the cars that pitted on lap 50, and he could be running out of fuel.
That would be not good.
And here's the thing, a lot of these guys might be close on fuel. Something else we got to think about: can they make 2 more laps around this track?
I don't know.
Because we just added 4 more laps on top of what they had.
Right. That's...
So I think that's why Jared came on pit road. He was one of those who pitted at lap 50, or lap 53. Remember I said he'd have to go 26 laps? Well, now these guys
Yes,
will go
sir.
almost 30 laps. Can they go 30 laps? Well, this could get interesting. Real interesting. I didn't think about that. And Christopher Heller I'll look back here a minute. None of these guys came on pit road at any of these cautions.
We didn't get a whole field pit stop before this green white checker.
I'm looking.
Because that's how I believe Brandon Barkowski passed Daniel Nanny. I believe.
And he passed him on the track. I'm looking. Hang on.
I mean, for going
I'm
into
not
that
seeing-
last one.
I am not seeing where any of them came in on pit road at that caution.
You're talking about the caution before this, right?
Well, let's look at it too.
Because I thought most of the people came down the...
Well, look.
down.
Hang on. We'll check it out.
But I don't know.
Okay, Sam came down. Frederick. Christopher came down. Okay, yeah. Most of them came down on that one. Must have been watching the replays when they were coming down. Okay. Oh. That takes the fuel thing out of the equation. Still would not. Why then would Jared have done what he done?
I am still at a loss.
Yeah.
But that flip-flops Daniel and Brandon. Now Daniel's got the back bumper of Brandon in front of him. And the inside line.
I just... Weird.
Yeah, we will definitely see what these guys make of this now. I don't think we've needed more than one green-white checker here in the Cup Series.
No, we haven't. But it's Talladega.
That's true. This is a common occurrence.
Yes, it is. So here we go. Pace truck's off.
Attempt number 2.
Attempt 2. That's right. Daniel got enough on it on this one. Christopher sitting there in the back. Green flag flies. We're racing. And you see Daniel got a good jump right there. I'll watch Chris back here because he's right up underneath it. He needs to hook onto that backpack up there. Can't afford to lose that draft. He's got a good run. He's going to have to make some moves. He's going to have to go with somebody. Daniel's up there blocking. Oh, Daniel got bumped in the back. Yeah, that's what they're doing, and they're crashing again.
Caution, yellow flag.
Airborne!
Oh,
Fasten
that
your
took it out.
seatbelts.
Yellow flag again out. Man, we watched that one live right there.
Matthew Durr right there. Gatorade looking car.
Now Christopher moved up to 5th, and Daniel still hung on to 2nd. We did not make it to the white flag. Question will be now is, do we do another attempt?
Right? Do we do it again?
Do we do it again, or are they going to just end it like it is?
Nah, let's do another one.
Might as well.
Yeah,
Well,
why not?
until
Let's
we're
just
done.
keep going till we win.
That's what I
We're
said.
finished.
Well, look who moved back up to 3rd. Jared.
Yeah, because the guys that were in front of him were the 3 that crashed.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to get through the crash and the back there and look. So, up to 3rd. And my thing is he gonna get up here? If they do get another one, is he gonna race for the win? You know, I've said it many a times. Don't be scared to race around a guy just because he's in the, chase or points or anything like that. I don't like seeing that.
Will Barbs is coming in on YouTube asking if we can go look at that crash real quick.
All right, hang on. The 44 up into the wall.
I think that's Matthew Durr going for into the stratosphere.
He is. Bam.
Yeah, he's like, Doge going to the moon? I want the moon.
Ouch. That was a huge one.
Yeah, it was. That was pretty nasty. Eesh.
Well, what I want to see is some guys get up here and race this thing. I mean, Daniel's right there. Christopher's there. But I want to see some of these guys get up there and do it. Yeah, Brandon, though.
Now, if you're Daniel, do you stay in second, take the outside, or do you give up second and stay on the inside?
Well, how do you do that? How do you give up second?
I thought you could do preferred line here. Right?
Man, I don't know how that stuff works, man. Look, I'm old school. If you're in second, you're in second. I ain't into this, let me have your position stuff and give it to me. You know what I mean? But in order for that to work, Jared has to go, okay, sure, I want that. I think. They both have to agree, don't they?
I don't believe so. I believe it's the guys in front of you's choice. Like, all of these guys, if they want the bottom, I'm pretty sure this is what it is. Don't quote me on this. Say the top 4 don't want to stack up 2 by 2.
If that's true, what you're saying, then that's a messed up rule. No. I don't agree with that rule whatsoever. And if it is, NASCAR sucks for it, basically.
Yeah, I think, say 1, 2, 3. Brandon, Daniel, and Jared right there, right? Want to stay on the inside line. That would move Aaron front row, outside row.
I would say, though, I don't think he would, because if he goes to the inside, he's pretty much stuck behind Brandon. Goes to the outside, at least he's got some help with the 97 machine there, Aaron. And he's got a shot to maybe get past Brandon with a slingshot somehow. But then again, we've seen it, work against them. But still, I would take the preferred top. Just because you're pretty much stuck down there at that. I mean, right where Jared is, he's pretty much going to be stuck if they stay side by side. And he's going to have to just lock on the back bumper of Brandon and push him like crazy. And then maybe hope coming out of 4.
Right.
That they clear him and he can maybe get a shot to the outside.
And also, hopefully for Daniel up top, hopefully Aaron Douglas gets going this time.
Yes.
And
then even on the top side, you've got Aaron and Josh back there. They could go 3 wide. See, so they even got another lane that they could go. Whereas like Jared doesn't and Christopher back there doesn't. They're all on the low line. Now the thing about that 37 is he's got damage. He's not. I'll be honest with you. He probably needs to move up and out the way, because he's going to probably stop scotting them real heavily. You see that front nose damage? The car's probably just not going to go. And that could hurt Daniel and him up there, up top. Just, they're going to have a full freight train. And what Christopher needs to do is he needs to close up that gap. And he definitely don't want that huge of a gap going to the lead. But, yeah, they need to close that bottom lane up real tight, coming to the line, tight. Because if that car, I think that car up there is not going to help Daniel and them on the restart. Christopher, I don't know, lagging back's not. Lag back too much. Just, you don't want to give an opening for Aaron to drop down there in front of you.
Oh, you do not.
Interesting. Here we go. Cross fingers. Green flag. We're racing.
Hopefully third time's a charm.
And that's what I thought was going to happen. Daniel just did not get started up front, and Daniel was able to get in front. And that's what I'm saying. Christopher left too much room. Come on. Are y'all guys just not listening? Left a huge amount of room. I would have been just all over the back bumper of that guy in front of me. There's no way I would have left a half a car length like that. But Jared's going on the outside. He's got no help. Daniel Nanny's not going to go with him because he knows the consequences. Here's where Christopher Heller should go. Christopher Heller should have went up top. By all means right now, he should have went up top. This move right here is just not going to help Christopher out. I know what he's doing. He's pretty much just wanting to get it to the white flag. But Christopher had an ample opportunity right there to take that thing to the top side. Did not take the move. He's playing point safe right now. They're going to take the green. They're going to take the white flag, so it won't matter. But man, I think an opportunity was missed for Chris right there to probably to get to the front.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We'll see now as we're coming.
We'll see what happens, but I think that might have been a missed opportunity.
Definitely. See, maybe if Daniel's taking a peek now, maybe. I wouldn't do it right there either. I'd wait.
Well, here's the thing. If Daniel goes to the outside, Christopher don't go with him. No, you don't go now. And Daniel's got to know that. Daniel at this point, really, unless he can just push Brandon out of the way, you stay where he's at. Well, he's just going to wreck him. And I don't really. And then, Christopher popped him in the rear. And he's going to come across the line. Boom. And 6. So what a crazy finish. Wow. And guess who won? Jared. Let's go back and watch that one more time. Okay, we're going to break it down. Brandon was up front. and basically Daniel just caught the rear of him, and it turned him. Typical, Talladega. Yeah, right there, just caught the corner of him. And then Daniel was so slow, Christopher had a run and shot him up the lane. The only good thing about this is there's several cars a lap down, so Daniel's not going to lose but a couple positions here. But crazy finish to this one.
More sideways finishes here at Talladega again.
That was wild. But that puts Jared out front. Josh Cottle comes home in second. Aaron, we'll find out how to say his last name now. He comes home in third. What a wild one here.
Yeah, that's that's crazy.
Great finish, but typical Talladega finish right there. Really aggressive. More aggressive than I thought Daniel probably should have been. I really think I would have. At some point, you got to think about it, because now he did give up some points to Daniel or to Christopher. He gave up some. So, a little bit close. Now, he didn't give up much, but he gave up a little bit.
Where did he end up finishing? Because you said Chris finished 6th.
Chris finished 6th. Daniel finished 8th. And the only good thing about that is because several of the other cars behind there were a lap down. So, again, mitigated the damage just a little bit. So, see, here's Aaron. Okay, we got Aaron. And see if we can't find Josh. Don't see Josh, but we'll bring up Aaron here and let's get a word with him real quick.
Hey, Aaron, it's Alex up at the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
All right, first order of business. How do you say your last name?
Duclos.
We
Okay.
were way off.
Yeah.
Most people are. Don't feel bad.
We were
Don't
like-
feel bad.
Dockless or something.
Silent S on that name.
All right. Well,
Duclos. All right, good deal.
we'll definitely keep that noted. I mean, what an exciting finish, man. Coming into that green-white checker. Let me know what's running through your head seeing all this popping off in front of you.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see Daniel get inside of Brandon, and then it kind of all broke loose. And, I just held the throttle and tried to go through the infield. Thought I might have had a shot at it, but I had some damage, and obviously going through the grass is going to slow you down. But it was a pretty wild finish after a relatively boring race.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good race though. Seeing how clean everyone kept it compared from this one to say the truck series one a couple weeks ago, where it was pretty antsy, pretty quick, if you ask me. But I mean, you had a pretty strong car for a good chunk of the time, man. How'd you think things were going to go before that first caution brought up that first green-white checker?
I thought, we were going to finish 1, 2, 3 because it's really hard with this package to pull out and pass when you don't have help. So I thought we were just going to finish 1, 2, 3 like we were running.
But yeah, we were kind of wondering how the ending would come, and then a bunch of stuff happened. We had 3 green and white checkers and all that jazz popping off. But you came here in a very nice fashion with a bunch of exciting stuff happening in front of you, and you're getting through it pretty well. Obviously, coming in third. Anybody you want to give a shout out to or thank for this finish here at Talladega this evening?
I'll give a shout out to Daniel Nanny, my teammate over in the truck series. We're Defiance teammates. He gives a lot of good advice and coaching, so I'll credit this good finish to Daniel Nanny, who finished 7th in this race, it looks like.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again, man, on your finish, making it through, not getting caught up in all that jazz, but glad to have you up here with us, man.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. Thank you guys for, being our broadcasters and taking the time to interview us.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. There you go, Aaron. Bringing it home in third here. Like I said, that's kind of the Red Seas parted there for him. Let's bring up old Josh here. Let's get a word with him.
Hey, Josh, it's Alex over the booth. You got me?
How you doing, man?
Dude, I'm doing good. How you doing?
Fantastic after that P2.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So, I want to know kind of where your head was coming in before the first caution came in at, lap 77 out of 80? You guys ran, 77 green laps? That's awesome. But let me know kind of what you're thinking from where you were sitting at that point.
Well, after the lap 40 pit stop, I accidentally slid my tires into pit road, so I had a 40-second hold, and I went a lap down. And when the green, white, checkered thing popped up and everybody pitted, I knew I had to stay out and obviously get the lucky dog. And then I got in the back, and then we had the first green, white, checkered. Somebody wrecked right in front of me, hit me in the nose, and I was down 50 RPM. I'm like, oh, man, this is over. I can't do anything else. And then the second green, white, checkered, just kind of stayed back waiting, and then another wreck, and I gained 3 more positions. And then the third green, white, checkered, I told him, you got to watch out for me. I'm going to be slow. But the guy behind me actually pushed me, and I actually kept speed. So that was awesome. And the leaders wrecked each other, and I just stayed on the bottom. Surprisingly got a P2 out of us, and I'm very happy with that.
And that's what, real quick, and actually I saw that too. And actually I mentioned that to Alice. I said the guys sitting back up there with a lot of front end damage probably not going to be able to go when the pack needs to go. So I mentioned that. So, yeah, hey, sometimes it works out though.
Oh, it worked beautifully in my favor.
And another thing that Joe brings up, especially here at this track, you could be in the pretty bad situation, kind of like you said. You got that penalty and you were a lap down, right? And now you're up here with us because you finished second place, man. You got a lucky dog, and now you're up here finishing P2 after all that exciting stuff happened. So, anybody you want to give a shout out to or thank for coming in, hooking and jabbing, making your way up and finishing second place, man?
Oh, of course. Thank you all for doing the broadcast, man. I love watching these races back, even though I'm not going to finish top 5 every race, but I still love watching y'all do your thing. And thanks to HCM, my team. RJ wasn't here with us tonight, but he told me what to do, and surprisingly, I got a P2 out of that. And then Rocky iRace Raps on Facebook, he hit me up with a scheme for tonight, and I'm glad I got that thing P2 as well.
Awesome, man. Well, like you said, definitely overcame some adverse conditions, we'll say, and made it through the wreckage and carnage happening in front of you, coming in P2, man. Congratulations. Glad to have you up here.
Thank you, man.
There we go. Josh Cottle, like you say, coming home. And, just real quick, I mentioned that on the restart. I thought, like what he said, down on power, down on a lot, and would have never thought that, it'd have been where he was. I mean, hey, but sometimes, man, that's just how it works out. Good job coming home in second. But this guy, Jared, you waiting in the booth? You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Okay. First off, we questioned the pit stop. We figured maybe it's close on fuel, and we were like, he just gave up his race. Well, restart 1. Guess what? After that, well, look up. You're up there in second, third. I'm going, hey, Jared's back up there. But now, even more better, you're in victory lane here tonight.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that happened. When we were green there, I was going to run out of gas, so I decided to pit for a splash when we were still under green, and the caution came out with 2 to go, and so I just was coasting and staying out, and I had the lead on that first green, white, checkered, and then we got another caution. I knew I wouldn't make it, so I had to pit again to get some gas, and I just got tires. I was like, might as well, since I'm going to be at the back anyway, and avoided crashes. And I don't know, I was really confused because with this package, you really got to lay back and drag the brake, and you got to be able to push people. That's how you're going to. There's like a terrible bubble and everything with this, and nobody was just really backing up to the cars, and you couldn't do anything. That's why there was a lot of single file. Just people weren't. I don't know. It seemed like people didn't really know how to do it. And then finally coming to that last corner, the 97, I just finally got in his back bumper, and we had a big run. I was going to push them all the way, and then they all decided to wreck each other, and I just kind of bobbed and weaved through it and crossed the line first. So that was kind of an exciting finish to a pretty I don't know, interesting race, I guess I could say, but feels good to win. Yeah, it was fun at the end there for sure.
Absolutely. I tell you what, like you said, you put in victory lane, won it here tonight. You got anybody you want to thank for it though?
Yeah, for sure. I gotta first off thank Eric for getting me in this league. This is my first start, just won, so that's kind of cool.
Wow, there you go.
Got the pole and got the win. So I gotta thank Eric for getting me in here to race tonight. And yeah, I almost got wrecked early on and saved it, and then just got there at the end, and so that was good. And just shout out to all the drivers out there and everybody that puts on this league. You guys for broadcasting, and I'll have to go back and watch this finish because it looked pretty wild there at the end. So yeah, thanks.
Oh, it was absolutely wild, like you said. I mean, I was watching it right there, and just kind of everything's parted for you, like you said, in the front.
It really did. It really did.
It was wild finish. But hey, that's what happens at Talladega in the plate track sometimes. Better to be on the lucky side and the right place, right time, and you put in victory lane. So again, congratulations there, Jared.
All right, thank you, man.
I tell you what, there's Jared, man, putting it in. Like I said, I mean, just everything worked out because, he pretty much was just looking to kind of just finish this thing. Was going to run out of fuel there, like you were saying. But, Alex, what a wild one here was to end it.
Yeah, it was. It seems like these guys got a knack, definitely, for making the endings here at Talladega in both the Truck Series and the Cup Series super exciting. And got guys finishing across sideways. It's just the norm, I guess, here.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It was an exciting race, man. It's always good to see that long green flag stretch. So we had what? It was like 77 laps or something like that.
Yeah, we did. We had a really good one. So my hats off to these guys. I know they were talking about, wow, a boring race, but sometimes what you really got to do here at the plate tracks, you really just got to be patient early on, and then usually chaos breaks loose towards the end of it. But I'm like you, man, what a race, what a finish here, folks, and it's going to set up for a good one come next week at Homestead when we crown a champ, because it's going to close in just a little bit between Christopher and Daniel, but Daniel's still going to come out here with a points lead. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. We're going to see you next week. We're going to crown a champ then. For myself and everybody at the Great Lakes Cup Series, everyone, have a good night.